Shalom. Call Haloyam La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachal Kodash. Bakta Yahweh, Bakta Yahushai, Bakta Rachal Kodash, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachal Kodash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and the elders in the Akim and the Akwath of the hopeful elect. Shalom. This would be, I think, part 3, Psalms chapter 57. We left off, I believe, on the last verse was verse 5. So what we'll do is go ahead and pick up at Psalms chapter 57 and verse 6. We can go ahead and grab some precepts, read a few more verses here, and then we'll close out. Lord willing, this video is edifying. So we'll start here, verse 5. No, Salaki, we'll start here in verse 6. They have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have digged a pit before me, Salaki, into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. Salah. So we know chiefly the first net that they have prepared is the so-called pilgrims, so-called Europeans, that prepared a net, which was what? Those slave ships. When they rounded us up on the west coast of Africa in cahoots with the so-called Africans, the Hamites, the sons of Ham. And so the European pilgrims, when you can Google this and research this for yourself, it's on Google. West Africa, King of Judah map, Land of Judah map. So when you pull up the images on that and that Google search result, you'll see the ancient Western Africa map that the so-called white man graphed and drew up. On the west coast of Africa, there's a portion of the land on the west coast of Africa that we were at, which became what known as the transatlantic slave trade. When we came over here on ships to America, there was a portion of the west coast of Africa that said King of Judah or Land of Judah. So Esau knew that he was going after the Israelites, the head tribe, the tribe of Judah, of the 12 tribes of Israel who were over there. And that was, mixed in with Benjamin and Levi as well. Because we were all the southern kingdom at that time, because, the Levites, they got kicked out of the northern kingdom back in, way back in the ancient history of those days in that time. So that was the first way that the Esau prepared those nets. Of course, throughout history, even before that, during the Roman times and the Greek times, and well beyond that, in the Amalekite times when we were leaving the first Egypt and the first Exodus, we always had wars with Esau. So they've always prepared a net for our steps. First to round us up and bring us over here, and now that's all he does. That's his top priority, is hunting our steps and keeping us enslaved mentally and keeping us destroyed mentally. So we'll get let's see, Lamentations 4 and 8. Their visage. Oh no, hold up. Slocky, that's not the verse I wanted to get. Let me just search it real quick. Hunt our steps. Verse 18. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. These scriptures have multiple levels and layers. These scriptures are what they say timeless. So that's part of the curses as well, like where it says in Deuteronomy 28 that we shall go out one way and flee 7 ways. That's because they hunt our steps, and the main way is through their cops today. who harass us and terrorize us. So I'm going to go back to Psalms 57 and verse 6. It says, they have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. And so slavery is a chief way to bow down the soul of a nation and, heavy oppression. So Isaiah 51 and 23. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And that's what's happening here in Babylon the Great. Like the Jim Crow laws and the Willie Lynch letters, those Jim Crow laws, you couldn't even look an Edomite, so-called white man in the face. You have to look down. Or like if you laugh or something like that, you have to put your face in a barrel. And if you're walking down the sidewalk and so-called white boy is coming down, or even a white girl, so-called, is coming down the sidewalk and y'all coming towards each other, you have to get out the way and let them go, or go to the other side of the street, or hurry up and get out the way, or you in danger possibly of getting lynched, or going to jail, possibly getting lynched, or getting beat by the cops. So that's how they say, bow down that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over. So that's, this is a terrible place that we're in, and that we've been experiencing these horrible, inhumane treatments and injustices. Salaki. So going back to Psalms 57. It says, they have digged a pit before me, into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. Selah. So that pit, one of those. So every land, every nation is a pit, and so every landmass is a pit. And there's some pits, some lands that are more fertile and more fat, more plenteous than other nations. Like Africa, so-called Africa has a lot of resources, the resources of that nation. That pit is has a lot of, is very fat with resources and minerals and, gold and diamonds and things of that nature. That's why Esau sets up shop over there and oppress them heavily and steal all of their resources, right? And then Saudi Arabia, the so-called Arabs, the sons of Ishmael. And by the way, if you tell a so-called the typical Arab knows that he descends from Ishmael, but that's another topic. But the sons of Ishmael, the so-called Arabs, they have a fat. Their land is fat with oil, and that's why they beyond rich, because they making all that money from all that oil they sell, right? That's one of Esau's, the so-called white man, America's, Babylon the Great's chief economic partners with that oil, with that petrodollar attached to it, is backed by that oil, basically. And so Saudi Arabia and them, they're ditching the dollar, and so Esau, he's scrambling, he's losing his mind because his dollar's about to collapse any day now. But so Esau has digged a pit over here, in the pit of Babylon the Great. He's digged a pit within this pit, and that's the plantations, and then now the modern day plantations is the prisons. So that's a pit, and then who is his foot soldiers that go out and round us up and bring us to that pit? His tentacles, his foot soldiers, the modern day slave catchers, the cops, and they round us up and throw us in those pits. Because we make up less of the population here in America, but we make up majority of the population in prison, right? So that pit is jail here, that's one of the pits. And then also economic pits, medical pits, financial pits. Everywhere we go, there's pits that he's laid, saying that we're all free, but then we had that so-called glass ceiling. So into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. and what the scripture speak about a man that dig a ditch and rolleth a stone. Proverbs 26:27. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. So that's what they call quote unquote karma, right? Because whatever Esau is doing, it's going to return upon his head, and the Most High say reward unto her double for her sins against the Most High and against his chosen, against the Most High, the Messiah, and against the apple of the Most High's eye, the Israelites. So Joel 3:4. Yeah, and what have Slakia? Yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? So this is a allegory, parable for the so-called white man, and also, this is just multi-layered because this is anyone that does this to the Most High and the Messiah and unto his chosen nation. And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. In verse 5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. So this goes twofold because they ransacked the temple. We know Esau, Edom, because the Hamites, they did that as well. And like that time when they took the Ark of the Covenant and had it with Dagon, I believe that false god Dagon, and the Most High, the temple, even the Most High was steadily knocking down, face down that false god, and spooked the Hamites, the Philistines, I believe, right? And then they had returned the Ark of the Covenant because they were plagued by having the Ark of the Covenant. And so, so Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he has destroyed the temple altogether and took everything out of there. Over in 70 A.D., the so-called Roman Jewish Wars of 66 to 73 A.D. A 7-year period. It says, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. And that's chiefly happened as well, the transatlantic slave trade. When the so-called Africans rounded us up with the Europeans, the so-called white man, and took us into slavery. In verse 6, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, that's the southern and northern kingdom, have ye sold unto the Grecians, and those Grecians are the Greeks, the so-called white man, that ye might remove them far from their border. And how was that? Through the slave trade. And then also Columbus took a lot of the so-called, the northern kingdom when he touched down over here in the islands over there, in the Caribbean islands, where the so-called Puerto Ricans are, which are the tribe of Ephraim, and took them back to Europe on slave ships as well. So, there's a whole lot that's been going on. So that's what that's going into. So the Most High is going to return it upon his own head. So now going back to Psalms 57 and verse 7. My heart is fixed, O Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise. So when we look at that word fixed, it says to be firm, be stable, be established. So this is King David here, and King David is a foreshadowing for the elect body of Yahweh Shai, the house of David, the 1/3 elect. So my heart is stable, my heart is established, so stabilized, right? Say, oh Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, my heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise, because the Most High waking us back into the truth. And that's the only thing that stabilizes us and give us the stability and the foundation to endure and know what's coming. And the Most High gave us the script, aka the scriptures of the movie that we live called life, and know what's coming and knowing what's to come. The destruction of Babylon the Great, America, and then also the deliverance of the elect and those so-called UFOs, the chariots. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, as our hearts being fixed. Because that's the stability of our times coming, and all our times, as long as we live now, that we have the knowledge that the Most High mercifully blessed us with through His Son, through Yahushua, that blessed us to be able to receive the stability from, because the Most High did what? Sent His Holy Spirit in the name of Yahushua to comfort us in these last days. John 14:26. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, or aka in the Hebrew, Ruach HaKodesh, whom the Father will send in my name, He shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance. See, this is only for the Israelites, not a heathen, because how can all things be brought to your remembrance about the Holy Scriptures and the covenant and the law, statutes, and commandments and having the faith, right? If you was never given it. The heathen was never given anything. It was never given a covenant. So how can they remember the covenant? So that's foolishness. Christianity is a lie from Satan, and as I say, Christianity is a hell of a drug, because they don't read the scriptures with the simplicity that's in Yahushua, and they can't plainly understand what's being said here. They confuse it. The Most High is not the author of confusion, but wicked men and vain satanic religions of men are confusion. So it says, and bring Slacky. Man, it's weather. And bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I have said unto you. Sheesh. So, and Yahushua is His 12 disciples that became the 12 apostles. Which one of them was a heathen? Not one of them. Only Israelites, the southern kingdom, and which one of them was a woman? Not one. All these women want to run their mouth, and they want to understand so much, but then they don't understand. They conveniently ignore about them keeping their mouth quiet, keeping their mouth shut, and that it's a shame for a woman to speak in the church. But everyone's going to receive their judgments for all of their wickedness soon come, lest they repent. And those that don't will get judged terribly. So now going back, Psalms 57. So we just read that in verse 6 about the stabilizing of our minds is the Holy Scriptures. And we've been awakened back to the truth and being taught all things, and that gives us that stability in the name of Yahushua. So Psalms 57:8, awake up, my glory, awake, psaltery and harp. I myself will awake early. So in these last days, we have awakened early, right before the destruction, and we're getting our house in order. Putting those two words together, we're getting our house in order right now. Our vessel, our bodily house, getting out, killing that old man, becoming that new creature, shining brighter and brighter to that perfect day. And then what? Our house of our families, and we're laying the truth to them, those that will receive it, that will have acceptation unto the words of the Most High. So in Revelation 14, verse 1, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion. That's our head, Yahushua. On the mount, he's the chief cornerstone of the Israelites, the nation of Israel. And with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their foreheads. So that's the government, the government that will rule with Yahushua, that will order the people of the Israelites in righteousness for eternity. Verse 2, and I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And that's a celebration after overcoming Esau, Edom, and the beast, and Satan. Verse 3, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. There's a different level of understanding, and the government of Israel with Yahushua as our head, they will be on a different level from the rest of the elect 1/3. They're going to govern, the body. Verse 4, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. Because, they wasn't defiled with wicked Christianity and Roman Catholicism, etc., and so on and so forth. These are, and Islam, that garbage. These are they which were, Slakia, these are they which follow the Lamb Yahushua whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh in the name of Yahushua and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. So that's that new song, David was speaking about. And he will sing and praise, and a part of that is going to be that celebration and that new song that the elect will know, and chiefly the government with Yahushua. So Psalms 30 and verse 7. Lord Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, by thy favor thou hast made my mountain to stand strong. Thou didst hide thy face, and I was troubled. And we were troubled here in Babylon the Great during the slavery times for a season, but now not anymore. And drop down in verse 11. Thou hast turned for me my mourning into dancing. So that's why it's wise. Those that are the wise ones are in the house of mourning, because our mourning is going to be turned into dancing. And those that's in the house of mirth and joy and dancing, right now in Babylon the Great on the Titanic, they're going to get transitioned to the house of mourning and be destroyed. Thou hast put off my sackcloth and girdeth me with gladness, to the end that my glory may sing praise to thee and not be silent. O Lord Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, my power, I will give thanks unto thee forever. So that's the kingdom of heaven, and forever, for eternity. So we'll go ahead and pause right there, and we'll pick up in the next video, part 4, Lord willing, and for the next portion of Psalms chapter 57. Lord willing, this video was edifying. The water to Rachak Wadash, Bahasham Yahushai, another video. Until the next video, I say, Shalom.